Whoops. Awesome. Richard Pickett here. So glad to have you guys with us today with the Richard Pickett and Shell.
So great to be here. Thanks for joining us today. Let's dive right in. I think everybody is probably pretty eager for us to get straight into what's going on with us since last week. So Richard, why don't you tell us where you've been making progress, where you've been held back, like what's been going on with you?
Yep. Okay. So before that, I just want to acknowledge one little difference that I see today. We have a couple of people that are joining in from Twitter live stream, which is
Oh,
I
okay.
just started using Periscope to broadcast, so that's exciting to see that there are actually people on Twitter that are watching. So what's up, Twitter folks? Oh, I have been meaning to fix this little thing down at the bottom because you can't see it that well. If you want to be able to make comments, I don't know how to do it on Twitter or if your comments will show up. But if you're in our Facebook group, you can make comments and we can interact with you for sure. And on the Facebook group, the name of the group is Digital Brand Alchemy. If you apply to enter, as long as your Facebook I think is older than 2 years, you'll be automatically granted to come into the group and just look for the live stream and we will be there. All right.
Yeah, and
So,
also before
yep.
you just get into other things, guys, if you're joining us for the first time and you have not um, checked in with StreamYard to activate Facebook being able to see who you are and show us, all you're coming up as is Facebook user on our end, so we don't know who you are. So if you are able to check in with StreamYard and give them access, great. Otherwise, please, when you give us comments, just type your name first before the comment so that we know who you are.
Yep. So I saw this one. This is Victoria Brewster. She posted this one before. So Victoria, I hope you're on. And by the way, to join the StreamYard, what app or whatever the thing is, if you're watching the live stream where we put the description of the topics for today, if you look at the bottom of that, there's a link to the little StreamYard thing. You go and accept it. Then when you come back here, your post will look like this one, where we can get to see your beautiful picture of you and your baby, and we will have your name so that when we put that up there, everyone will know exactly who you are. So thank you, Olu Kimi. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Obviously pronouncing it slower.
Oh, hey, Nancy. So glad you were able to join us.
Yes, Nancy Scherer. Thank you so much. I think,
Yeah.
Nancy, wasn't this you that also said hello? I think so, yes. Yeah. So two hellos back to you. 1,000 hellos. Alrighty. So update for me really quick. So I've been trying to get this crazy oh man, my mind has gone blank. Case study out the door for you guys of how I got Keith's. We targeted 2,500 of his connections on LinkedIn, and we got 177 of them to enter into his funnel. I finally got to talk to him this week. He has this crazy update. He's got part ownership in a company. When I pressed him on it, he said, I said, it doesn't sound like you got that from the work that we did together. And he said, well, actually, it was because there's a lot of buzz about that because of all the work we had done. I'll save all of those details for the case study, but I was planning on completing that this week so that I could release it. But I had a client emergency that started, I think it was Monday, and it soaked up all my time. And then I had a new person who wanted for us to talk and become, we started, I think last night, wanted to take on partnership her becoming a client. But I had to study up and get a lot of things prepared before that meeting so that I could go in and show this is what your plan would look like, because hers, I don't know if you guys know me, but I love making a very clear plan. And by the way, if she'd have said, hey, thanks for the plan, I don't want to work with you, she would have had a complete plan. That's just how I'm good with it, because I tell them the things that we will accomplish. I put them in order, but I don't necessarily, for those of you that are coaches out there, I don't tell them all the details of this is all the stuff you got to go do. So now we work together. Plus a lot of, as coaches know, but most clients don't know until they've worked with someone for a while. Most of the work isn't even if you gave them a step-by-step plan. It's in being able to stay focused, what, the things that are distracting you, all those kinds of things that are preventing your success. It's not because you don't have a good enough plan. It's usually other things happening. So this week has been very chaotic for me. I'm hopeful that I will be able to shoot some video today and get this case study out the door for you guys within a week. That's my prayer. So
Yeah. Sounds awesome. Like, I'm still looking forward to see it.
yeah.
Hey,
So how about on your side, Shelley?
Ariadne and was there somebody else? Tanmay, who I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Please correct me. Thank you all for being here. Update with me. It's also been a crazy week. I had a podcast episode air with the Empowered Affluence podcast, which was amazing. And it was so quick the way she turned it around. We recorded it Wednesday morning at 6:30 a.m. and then it was out and like airing on Thursday at 6 a.m. I was like, oh my God, how did you turn this around in a day? But it's been amazing. Got another one coming out with the Teachable Soul on Monday. So
Awesome.
lots of great things in the works and some amazing collaborations still like set to happen for March and early April. I'm just like looking forward to it. I'm riding this wave and like I'm figuring other things out as I go along.
Awesome. That's great. And so for the show, if my way of staying focused on the show, I'm trying this new thing. I've got these little stickies that I write. So this one says productivity, because that's one of the things that we said in the email that we talk about. And Shell, just then when you talked about how you'd have the recording and then, that next morning she already had it released. It's all about having systems in place. And so that's a really good segue for today.
She's probably got like a really great, amazing workflow that she's figured out just by going through that process. And so she could probably just crank out the steps one after another or delegate them to somebody else to do it. Thank you. So yeah, I am trying to put some systems in place as well, but some of that will take some work for me to figure out like what I can delegate to other people instead of just doing it all myself still. That'll take some time, but things are moving along smoothly and I'm not stressing it.
Yep. So for those of you that have tuned in today and you're watching right now, of these three things, I'm going to ask two different questions. So the first question, of the three things that we've listed, which is how to set your prices, systems, how to systematize what you're doing, and productivity, like staying focused, making lists, organizing yourself, getting stuff done. Of those three, what is the most important thing for you? And if you have something, like you could just say pricing, like, great, we don't know that's like a vote for pricing. But if you have a specific thing, like how can I systematize fill in the blank? Or I spend a lot of time doing blah, blah, blah. How can I systematize that? You can ask those types of specific questions. Or the second question I was going to ask, if you have anything else that's important to you that comes up, it's on top of your mind right now, or it comes up through watching the show during our conversation or whatever, please just drop it in the comments. We will be happy to tackle it. And with that, Shell, what do you think we should start with first?
I mean, it's always on everybody's mind. Let's talk about some money. Like,
okay,
why not?
Money. All right, so now this is going to be a little thing that I do. I'm just when you guys see me reaching up and taking something, that means the topic is now like either being discussed or whatever, and my to-do list just got decreased. So I've got the pricing one. I'm putting it down on the table.
Drop your questions in the chat so that we know what we can answer for you.
So pricing is really a broad thing. So I'm hopeful that either those of you that are watching now, and also thank you if you're watching a replay, because of course, as a matter of fact, one of the guys that mentioned pricing, I'm going to look at his email in a minute and read some of it to you guys. He said, you're never on when it's convenient for me. So if you're watching a replay, you can still drop in questions. We'll save them up. We'll talk about them on the next show.
Yeah. Do you know what time is convenient for him?
Yeah, so that's the tough part. Like when I first started, I used to have a poll.
We were poll.
Yeah, and I suggested a lot of different times. The problem is people gravitated to two different times. They gravitated to about this time on Saturday or about this time on Sunday. It seemed like those were the ideal times. Almost the rest of the time during the week, like people didn't really pick up on them that much. So So that's why I think, Shell, when you and I were talking about when can we just settle on one consistent time, it was easiest to do that with this time. So with this time slot. So
Yeah.
for pricing, again, because it's, oh yeah. So actually, this is Dennis. Yeah, and
Now
this
we
is
don't have
from
to pull up
his.
the email.
Yeah, this is from his email, which I did have it ready, Dennis. I was, I don't know if I was going to try to show everybody. I didn't want to screen share and like divulge too much, or like do that with the phone. So I'm glad that you brought this up. Let's read this. One of the issues he's having with one of his clients is cutting the number of clicks it takes someone to become a customer. So it's not technically this. Maybe he was actually coming from the system side. I'm not sure, but this is not a pricing issue. And for some reason, when I read the email, I was thinking this was pricing related.
Well, I mean, it's still relevant in terms of converting them to clients.
Sure.
So it's not directly money related, but it correlates on the back end of like not being able to make the money if they're not converting.
Yep. So let's tackle conversion flow, which I think is probably going to be a little bit better for this. So what I try to avoid binary, like, are you going to buy? Yes or no. Like I try to avoid forcing that onto people explicitly. So explicitly would be like sending someone a, hey, I'm glad we connected. Do you want to buy? Yes or no. Like that's explicit. Or even the implicit one, which would be like on a website where it's a binary sale. Like either you're going to buy or you're not going to buy. Or in this case, you're going to call or you're not going to call. It is true that every click it takes someone to, it used to be true. So I'm sure it's a lot worse today. Like the statistic is a lot weighted more against the website owner today than like 20 years ago when I first heard this. But the statistic was, if I land on your site and I'm looking for some specific information and you have like 100 people that all land on your homepage and that information is like 2 clicks away, 25 people will make it that far. And the theory or the ratio was that for every click people have to go through to find your information, you will lose half. So 100 show up on the front page, then 50 make it to the next page, 25 make it to the next page. And then, like if it's a sales offer, as an example, your conversion rate starts kicking in. And out of 25 people, if you have a 5% conversion rate, like you've got one person. And so if you wanted to improve your sales, you'd move that offer up to the front or whatever. Like there are other things to try. So I think this is maybe why Dennis is saying this. And also he says he sees this as a back end problem, but I'll just leave this main description up because this is what we'll talk about for a second. So I would want to see if there's a way to structure this slightly differently and not have the call as an implicit, basically, are you going to call me? Yes or no? Because if they don't call, and I'm assuming that these are not people that are subscribed. I'm assuming this is just traffic not coming from an email list. So like, I get it. I'm making some assumptions. Dennis, feel free to correct me for your specific case. My concern would be that if they don't call, then, eventually they're going to close that browser window and go to something else. And then you've lost them. So for me, I like to think of who's my ideal client. And that is they have the money to pay for the solution, and their hair is on fire from whatever problem I can easily solve. And then I want to give them some information or some solution that kind of eases their pain and proves to them that I know what I'm talking about while I'm actually helping them. And then that gives some authority. And actually he says that we're correct. I'm correct on that assumption. On the assumptions that this is just regular web traffic. So if I gave them a video series or an assessment, hey, are you having these kinds of problems in your business? Take the self-assessment and I'll give you, 10 steps, step by step, what you need to go do right now to get that fixed. So they take the assessment. Now they're on my email list. Now they watch the video series. They're getting the 10 tips or 10 steps. They realize this guy knows what he's talking about. And then my emails begin to say, why don't you book a call? Hey, we're available to help. Do a discovery call and let's see if there's another way we can help you. And then I'm getting down to that binary yes or no, but it's much further down in the conversion funnel. So that was my thought when I saw this email. Saw your email come in. What do you think, Shell? Any comments, feedback, or other thoughts on that?
I mean, it's tricky because on the one hand, like if you present it that way and you're like, hey, like I'll give you 10 things that you can do right now to like solve this problem, and then they go through the 10 steps. Are you leaving something out that then they still need to book in with you to have that discovery call, or do they have enough information where then they don't need it? Like, how much value are you really willing to provide? And could that person be like, all right, well, I've gotten enough value out of it, I don't need to go any further? And then that's the reason that they're not booking in.
Yeah. So I think to me, this goes back to ideal client. My ideal client knows that this is so much of a problem and they want someone else to solve it, or they want someone else to coach them or hold their hand through solving that problem. People that, because I've worked with people who thought they knew everything, and I would, especially when I was with Score. So the situation there was with Scores, you're doing business consulting with people who are doing a startup. They don't know anything about business, but they know everything about their product or the service that they're trying to do. And I don't in any way want to speak disparagingly of Score or their clients. That's not my intention, but I'm just trying to frame the people. Most of them are very self-determined, which you have to be to start a business. And to take everybody's naysaying, like you have to be really self-determined. But when they thought they knew more about the business part, then I couldn't actually help them. And it became difficult when I would say, I'm afraid that's not going to work. They didn't really want to hear it. They had gotten used to like anybody who said your business idea is not going to work, they just didn't listen to them. So as a coach, when I was saying, I don't think this is going to work, what I believe you should do is this over here. Here are all the reasons why. They thought for sure that they could figure it out. So like I'd given them more than enough information. So I'd really rather have clients that they're like, Richard, like this is your area of expertise. Please just come help me. I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Yeah, like I don't even want to do those 10 steps. Like just solve it.
Right. Yeah. Or they'll look at the 10 steps or the videos or whatever, and they'll realize, okay, you're an expert in this field. Exactly who I was looking for. Come solve this. Then they're willing to pay more because they know that you're fully engaged.
Yeah.
Another factor of that too is since they're paying more for that full engagement, they also view it as an investment. And this is a mindset difference. Maybe it comes into pricing a little bit. There's a mindset difference when you're working with people who have a good cash flow. They view, if they say, hey, I have a problem, and someone says, I can solve that. They say, how much is it? And they say $1,000. They just view it that I'm going to give this guy $1,000 and that problem is gone. Like that's really how affluent people with money, people that are running businesses think, is they just think in terms of how much does this solving this problem cost me? And I'm going to find someone and give them the money and then I'm done. As long as I never have to see that again. And I think this about like something as simple as yard care. I think, okay, I need mulch and I need the hedges trimmed and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need
a landscaper.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't need a landscaper that's constantly pestering me with a million different little questions about a million different things. Like I would rather just pay him the money. And when I step outside, it looks great. Like, or if I'm really picky about this one tree or bush or something, that I would say, this is how I want this one thing done. And that I know I'm just going to give him the money, like all that stuff's taken care of. And I don't need to know the details. Those types of people are ideal clients. Right. So the more picky people are, the more detailed they are, the more they're dragging you down for questions. Like, okay, that's a really good sign. You're not an ideal client.
Okay. So I want to go back to Dennis real quick though, because it seems like he's got some concerns about what we were talking about for him. Dennis, like, can you tell us a little bit why don't you think that this would work for your company? Like, what are you trying to do specifically are you offering luxury rides to a specific audience, or are you more like a Lyft or Uber type service? What is your business model that we wouldn't be able to make something like this work? If that's a appropriate question. I feel like I want to get more in depth with answering Dennis's question before we go more in detail to something else.
Yep. So it could be, if I could go back to looking in my crystal ball and trying to guess,
Yeah.
it could be that
Magic 8 Ball, actually.
These are people that are ready to book a rod. Like, let's say it's you're going to take your date to prom and you're looking for the limousine service. And so this really is I need to buy it now. I'm maybe take this assessment to find out if this, how to solve your finding a limousine problem is, going to I can see how that totally wouldn't fit.
Where's the issue though? Is the issue that the pricing is too high and people are comparing to other luxury ride companies and seeing that the price point is different for the same kind of vehicle and service? Or is it more of like I was just researching it and I'm not ready to do it right now? Like where are your ideal clients getting hung up?
Yeah. So he says it's on the booking part. Right now it's taking a minimum of 3 clicks to get to the call. So is there a way that you can take the logic of that button where they click, which takes them to this thing, that takes them to this thing, to take them to actually a call, and just change it? And one example, by the way, in HTML now, just like you can make an ahref, which is a link that when they click it, they go to a web page. You can make that same kind of link, but it's for a phone call. If they're on a mobile, they click it and it will switch to their phone dialer and the number will be there. So that could be one of the simplest things. Just get around whatever the thing is you're using.
Maybe we can we pull up his website? Maybe, like, why do we even need to go to a call? Can you just have different options for them to book different vehicles, and then it pulls up like a booking screen? Because then you don't even have to leave the page to get that far. Like, why would they need to specifically get on a call with you in order to book the service?
Right. Yeah, I don't know how long it'll take to go back and forth with chat if he's not on the live. And maybe we could save this for a special session. So yeah. Dennis, if you'd like for us to look at this sort of thing live, just reply back to that email and send me the link and we'll take a look at it. Yeah, and he says pricing is not the issue. So
okay.
So this is more of a methodology. It's too long or too difficult. Send me the link. We'll take a look at it. And in one of the next live shows, if you haven't already solved it. Actually, he says at this point, all they can do is get on a call. So if you haven't solved it by the time we do the next live show, we'll pull it up and see if there's any brainstorming we can do around it.
I mean, maybe I just need to see the process that they're going through, and then it would become more clear what other way we can do it. But I don't think that they necessarily need to get on a call in order to book the service.
They make for that business. They may not have online booking.
So that's what I'm saying.
It's just too many unknowns. Yeah. Olukemi said, see if you send someone information for about a year, what should I do? So I'm guessing this kind of goes back to if I invite them into my list and I'm giving them information, or if I'm meeting with a prospect and I'm giving them information. Yeah. So if I've actually met with people, I met with them the first time. I'm thinking of an exact case. I met with this guy the first time. We talked about what he wanted. He was convinced that he wanted us to work together. He said, I just need to get my girlfriend. So we set up another meeting. And he said, we will do this, totally committed.
I love those.
Yeah. And then, so we go and we have breakfast and, we talked through the whole thing through breakfast, the entire plan again. And, he was going to go home and pay via credit card. He wanted me to send him the bill. So I paid for breakfast for all of us. And then he left with his girlfriend. And then later he said, whatever excuse, we're not going to do it. It actually took him a week. I just said, hey, I'm ready to start whenever you are. It's been a week. And then that's when he answered back and he said that he wasn't going to do it. So I got left paying, enjoy the breakfast. But my point with that is he knows what I can bring him. I know what his need is. I know how I can absolutely help him. There's no sense in me meeting him another time to talk about it again and make sure this is something that we both want to do. So I'm not going to. So now, if it's been several years, maybe I would meet with someone to find out and update on their situation. Do they still have the same goals and things like that? But I'm not going to meet them, a month from now and go over the plan again. Either you want to start or you don't want to start. So I wouldn't be strung along for a year.
Yeah, and also in a slightly different vein, if there's somebody that's signed up for your newsletter and they just don't ever take action, maybe they are just really interested in like the tips that will help keep them on track and don't have any intention of paying for a service. I mean, I have people that have signed up for my newsletter that I know will never pay for a service, but I'm still providing them value by giving them the free tips, and I'm totally cool with that because I know that that's the relationship. So if you're talking to somebody for a year and you don't know where you stand with them, then maybe we need to go back in and evaluate what client is your target audience.
Yep. And case in point, the client that I picked up last night, this is someone that I semi worked with. It's been a year plus on something completely different for this client. And it didn't work out. It kind of got messy. And so I closed things down back then. I said, this isn't working. And it sat this whole time. So she sent me a text early this week and she said, here's what I'm doing. Here's my goal, what I want to do. And I know you're the person that can help me. I want to pay you. Let's meet Friday. I'm bringing my checkbook and I want to get started now. So when I talk about ideal client, that's the ideal client. I didn't have to keep meeting her over and over and over for the last year. She remembered me. So I didn't have to keep feeding her. By the way, I do think it's good to say hello to people or, keep in touch and stuff. But what I don't think is healthy if I become the sales guy and I'm like constantly, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? To like 500 people, hoping that any one of these contacts will suddenly say, hey, let's work together. Like, I think that's an unhealthy way to view sales. Instead, I demonstrate your ability, give space, and then just have a normal relationship with people. Check in every once in a while, not to see if they're ready to start with you, but just how are they doing? What's up with their business or the thing that they're working on, and then move on. Because if you've demonstrated your value and their hair is on fire for the problem that you can solve, they will be reaching out to you to get started.
Yeah, and I have a few that are like that right now, where they've thanked me so much for helping them with their LinkedIn profiles, and then it's for whatever reason it's not a good time right now, but I definitely need it. And then so like a few weeks go by, and I'm not hand holding, I'm not checking in every single day because I hate that. But after a little bit of time, like I'll check in and say, hey, how are things going? Is there any part of your profile that we want to, go deeper on? Like, I'm happy to clarify anything for you. I saw you made some changes. They look great. Like, I just want to be as encouraging as possible through that process so that they don't feel overwhelmed with it. But like, I'm still giving them value to it. Like, I'm not even asking them to sign up for anything. I just want to keep providing value so that they know that it's important and build up the relationship that way.
Some more things. They're working all online. The booking's not completed yet. So this is another thing, like trying to integrate with someone else and using them, and they're not actually ready. That like could really kill your business. I've been there. I've been where I'm waiting on them to develop features for my online platform, and especially in my case, I'd already gotten stuck because I'd made commitments. It made me look really bad. So that's really difficult. You have to plan that sort of thing in. Word to the wise. And then Dennis switched because we were talking about relationships, and he says, yep, he's worked for a few companies years before they became customers. You just have to build, as he says, the trust and relationship. So absolutely. And then he agrees on building relationships, of course. Once you do, when they're ready, it happens. So totally true. Totally agree. All righty. So back to pricing. We're still on.
I mean, it was still relevant though. So.
Oh yeah, so totally good. Yep. So, all right. So there are different things that you'll have to price. So one that I think of, high ticket pricing. I think of two categories with high ticket pricing. So these are going to be things that I guess different people have different definitions of what high is in high ticket pricing. But if I took it that it's 3,000 or above, some people may say 5,000 or above, but so an exorbitant amount. This is a very specific area, and this is very interesting area to work within. It may not be easy to start here, so I don't necessarily recommend it, but I want to take the principles from high ticket pricing and then apply them down to lower price things. So there are two factors to think of in high ticket pricing. And these typically will be courses that are coupled with like a live call or maybe even a one-on-one call if for the people that pay even more. So imagine you buy a course, and as you're taking the course, you can submit questions. Maybe there's a group and people in the group help each other, or at the end of the week or whatever, the person who's teaching the course collects all of those questions together, and then they have a live video, maybe just like this, where they go over the questions and talk through their answers and explanations, and people make more comments and stuff. And so it's semi-interactive. That's like one type of course. And then adding on to that you could have a one-on-one phone call with either one of the coaches with that course or the person that the single person who put it together or whatever. And that would be an upsell. Or there's even combinations where they have a team that will do it, but they let you take the course so that you understand what's being done on your company, your website, whatever it is. That way you can have a good working knowledge of what they're actually doing for you, but you're just not the one doing the work. Of course, that will cost even more. So when I think about just the course by itself and maybe a Q&A call, a really good way to set a price for that is take a professional pricing structure, which is typically going to be from $150 an hour to maybe $250 an hour, and multiply that times the number of hours that the course is. So and I prefer video, I'm thinking of video course specifically. So forget about the PDFs. Yeah, you will make PDFs. They download them, they check them off, they fill them in, like whatever. Great. But you just take the videos. How many total hours of video is that? Times 250 as a good rough estimate. That's usually where your pricing will be for that course as a good rule of thumb. That's one way to do it. Then when you add in, if they do one-on-one calls, or if you're going to do, question and answer support or email support or whatever, maybe it goes up from there. Maybe you actually throw those things in as a benefit. But those are the things I like, a real quick way to estimate how much a course is actually worth. There's another way to estimate how much a course is worth. It's slightly different and it's harder to do, and that is how much gain, and this is more of a business perspective, how much gain will someone have by taking this course? So it's easy to say this course is only for companies that are bringing 1 million to 3 million in revenue annual. And then you can price the course a lot higher because when they follow this course with a company that's already making $1 million, how much more? Maybe they're going to make another $500,000 that year. Well, then now, a $3,000 course looks kind of cheap. I could probably sell it for $25,000 or $50,000 and do one-on-one with them very easily. And it would make money sense to them that they would pay $50,000 and increase the revenue by $500,000 this year and next year and learn all those secrets or the advice or whatever, and be able to continue to apply it in their business and make even more money. So $50,000 seems kind of small. So those are when I think of pricing high ticket items, those are the two things, like total number of consulting hours or hours of the video, or how much changes is going, or guys can't see my hand because it's shrunk the screen, or the other one is how much increase in businesses is this going to bring. And of course you can't get all of that, in your course price, but it becomes something that's relative to that. Amy Rose. Hey, Amy, I spoke to Amy. Was this in December? She's putting together a course. And we met, Did we meet through StreamYard? I think she was looking for a mentor, and we connected. And we talked a little bit. She's in New York, Shell.
Cool.
And
Amy,
if
let's meet up.
yeah. So Amy Shell is in New York.
Nancy is
And
also in New York when she comes back from her skiing.
I need to reply to her email. Thank you. I've been underwater this whole time. Amy is working on sommelier, so she's working on wine, to educating people about wine and things like that. So I think it was December. Yeah, Nancy said yes to you. So
Yeah.
alrighty. Pricing. Okay, so like bringing that down. Oh, one other thing a side thing that I really like about high ticket pricing or higher pricing is it becomes built in that when someone pays $5,000 for your course, they're more likely to complete it. And my client even told me last night when she wrote me the check, she said, "This is going to make me do this. Like, this isn't talk." She even said, like, she wants me to hold her super accountable. And she said, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you call me out and say, "Why haven't you done this yet?" She said, "Because what I'm going to hear is I paid this guy money and I'm wasting it. I need to get busy." And so, like, I even sent her a thing this morning. She hadn't connected on Asana yet. So I just sent her I got an email saying she hadn't accepted it yet. So I sent her a screenshot, and she said, "LOL, I'm getting on it right now." It's like, so because when you pay someone money, like, you want to get a return on that. So if I could easily charge a lot less and get a lot more clients who do nothing, I would rather charge a lot more and get clients that I can say, "Hey, I helped this person like really go crush it." And so they communicate that through paying a higher price. So okay, let me rewind. So Amy says, "Yes, I'm finally getting it together." Awesome. It's titled "Salute to Sarah." That's a really cool name. I really like that. Hey, you got to come on the show, Amy. You got to join in with us. Yes, she does have a little one. I remember her baby started crying at the end, and we had to cut everything short. But you got to come on the show. You got a webcam? I know you do, because we did Zoom together. So you can come on the show and we can look over what you're doing. That would be so much fun. And then Nancy says she loves wine. So
I don't know. I feel a collaboration coming with Amy, Nancy, and myself. We can test out your course. We can try some wine.
There you go.
When we meet in New York.
The Wine Club of New York is just officially launched. Alrighty. So when you bring things down lower, so Nancy's good with that, seems like. All right, so when you bring some of these principles down lower, it gets a little bit harder, and you actually end up falling into certain brackets of like 1997, maybe 1497, 997, 497.
I want to jump in right here and ask a question. What's with the sevens? Why do people always have their pricing end with sevens instead of nines or fives? Like, what's the logic behind the 7? Is that because people think they're getting a sale? And
I think actually
it's always like a sale number.
They've done studies on the endings of prices, and I think 7s was the winning number.
I mean, don't get me wrong, 7 is my favorite number, but like I like.
See, so you're already gravitating towards it. It's a very subtle thing.
I like when prices end with 0s and 5s. So I mean, anytime I'm in a restaurant, like signing a bill, I make it an even number so that it, like, I know that, one, so that I can recognize it and know that it's not fraudulent, and 2, like, I just want it to be an even amount, or like, and 5s at least are like easier to compound.
Yep. So I even, like, when I read something's $497, when I talk about it, I say that'll cost $500. Like, in my mind, it's $500. If I tell someone else, it's $500. And sometimes when I talk to clients, I'll say, like, "Why don't you just price that at $500?" I don't mean put it for 500. I mean put it for 497 or 499 or something, but definitely not 500. And there is just something about, I do know this, even though I round up in my head, I think the general majority, they view 497 as actually cheaper than $500. And I know it is by $3, but psychologically it seems cheaper. I don't know how to say it. Whatever. It seems less expensive than just $3 less than 500. It seems like, oh, that's not even close to $500. Even though we know it actually,
Psychologically, yeah.
we logically know that it is, but the lizard brain thinks, hey man, that's not $500. Let's go buy that. So I do know they've done studies. I think 7s is a good ending number. I think 5s is okay, but I still have a preference for 7.
Okay. I just always want to know why people have like the 97 at the end of like their pricing instead of rounding up or rounding down.
Yep. So when you're looking at these smaller things, I'll go all the way to the other extreme end, like something that's for $7, $17, $27, or $47. How about those? They all end in 7s. So something that's usually $50 or less is typically called a tripwire. So to me, though, again, it comes back to that binary yes, no kind of thing. And I don't want to have that tripwire up front. But what a tripwire signals is this person has money and is willing to spend it, and they're interested in this thing, whatever that is. It also, excuse me, is slightly, it's a slight micro commitment step. So what are micro commitments? Micro commitments are these forms where it's just like a simple thing where it's yes or no, like, would you like help with blah? And you click yes. Then it takes you to the next one. And they're just asking you a series of questions, and they're getting you used to making a micro commitment. And then after you've asked 5, it's kind of like you have this momentum going. And then when they ask for your email, like, take this assessment, this self-assessment, and we're going to help you, whatever, figure out what your problem is. And you answer all these questions and you spent 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. It could even be as short as 30 seconds, but you entered some stuff. You have momentum going that then when they say, could you give us your email, or maybe in today's terms, can you give us your phone number? Like you want to stop, but there's a psychological momentum that's going to carry
I've come
you
this
forward.
far. I've got to keep going. Yeah.
Right. So those are micro commitments. Tripwires work the same way in that, well, I've already spent $7. Like, I've already made the decision to spend money with this person or company. So then it's easier with a tripwire to say, hey, we actually have this full blown course. You paid $7. Like, let's talk about Shell in your case. You just paid $7 for, or I would say maybe in your case, $27 for this 50-page PDF. And it's got all of these details about how you can rework your profile, and then how to go get 1 million recruiters in your army working for you, finding your next job. And so they've already made this as a micro commitment. They've given you their credit card. And then you say, hey, since you believe in me, I'm going to give you this total profile rewrite that I will personally take care of for you in less than a week. If you'll sign now, it's ordinarily $497, but I'll do it all for you for $297.
I wouldn't even go that low. I would have said $397, but
okay,
sure.
$397. Yeah, of course. So, but you just basically got paying momentum started, and then it's just so much easier. And especially if you said that the PDF would be included at this final price of $397, then it's like they will feel like, well, I've already kind of invested in this savings to get the $397, or whatever those numbers work out to, and it becomes easier. Now on your $397, for me as a business person, how am I going to price a $397 product? If it's all just a video course, as an example, then $397, I'm going to imagine it's just a few hours of video, and maybe I would want to sweeten it with something else, like maybe 3 months of being part in some collaborative group of some sort. But $397 to me is a hard one unless it's a service. I think it's easier if that's a service, because for me, I'm thinking for a 1 hour course is about $97. If the next leap that I think of is $497, $500, and that's going to be a couple hours with some PDFs, checklists, things like that. So $397 is kind of weird, but But for you, the way I would be doing the math in your pricing, because I know what you're doing as a service, because you're going to go look at their profile, you're going to have to talk to them on the phone to get what are they interested in, their life why and all that kind of stuff, and where are they going with their career. And then you got to go do this. So I would figure out how many hours does that take, and what is a good hourly rate for someone who does this sort of consulting do, and that's how I'm going to arrive at my price. And if this person's going to take longer for any reason, my price is going up equivalently. Or I'm going to stay if they don't want to go up, I'm staying at the same price, but I'm going to reduce the things that I do, because it's going to and I will tell them this is going to take more time. I'm going to have to either limit my time, or you don't get as many other perks or benefits or whatever out of it. But I wouldn't just say, well, for you, I'll give you a discount like that. That's selling yourself short and telling them that you're really not that as valuable as whatever original price that you were asking.
That makes a lot of sense. I need to like test it out a little bit more, like with the beta testing, and like see how like I've done the mini reviews and the longer reviews, and I'm trying to find like a common ground where like all right, they take me an average about of this much time to go through it with a person directly. If I do them as a video or like a sequence of videos to break it down for them to do the work themselves, it takes about this long, versus spamming their email, for lack of a better word, like 5 days in a row, and every day they get like a PDF booklet to like work through it a little bit at a time. And then what does that look like for them, kind of thing. So I'm trying to break it down a little bit to find where people find the most value.
Yep. So my just like off the top feedback, when you say like making videos for them to go and do it,
I walk through it and I make suggestions about this is the reason why I think you should change this. Here's where I think you should go, but I won't until we have that one-on-one call, I won't concretely like tell them what to change it to. It's just a suggestion of like why I think you should optimize this area over another area, and I'll pick like 3 areas to target in their specific video, because everybody is unique and some people focus on different things over another.
Okay, so this is in the mini review.
Yeah, the mini review.
Yeah, so
the full reviews actually take way longer.
A lot longer, right? So how long are the videos that you're making in the mini review?
I've about 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, so I would definitely have a cap. And I would even tell them that in the sales. Well, maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't tell them. But when you do the delivery, you definitely could say, hey, this is only a 15-minute video. But if you would like more, then there's an implication that there's a lot more to it. Then it's easier to do the upsell for sure. Yeah. Another way I think you could package this is because you just said this thing so this goes to systems.
Pricing and systems.
Yeah. So you said, like, let's say you're going to do a full rewrite for someone. They're going to have to fill out a PDF, but you may go back and forth in email. You may have a call, all these things. I would suggest that over the course of the next 2 months, you have enough of these that you can say, build like one solid PDF that when they go through and answer all of these questions, you now have everything that you need. That way, there's no going back and forth. It is a little bit like on them. And if they're procrastinators, then it drags out, which then could lead to a chargeback. So, they buy this full package and you say, okay, in order for me to deliver that, you got to fill out this PDF. They start filling out the PDF, but because these are, in your case, like people getting ready to graduate and they got other things on their mind, they still want to party, all that kind of stuff. So they procrastinate and put it off. They got finals, and they just don't get it done. And then it's like, why did I pay $497 for this? I'm going to do a chargeback. I want my money back or a refund, like whatever. Okay, so to avoid that,
it's the parents that are going to be like, what did you spend this money on?
Right. So to avoid that, I would deliver them everything. And here's how I would do it. I would say, here's what you're buying. You're buying this full PDF that when you fill it in, then you watch this series of videos where I tell you how to take that information and put it into your profile. And I will tell you, don't word things this way, word them like this. This is what you should be doing. Watch out for this, do it that way. Like, I give all of that instruction to them, and then say, now, if you want me to do it, I'll do that for you for free after you fill out the PDF. So now, if they say, well, I want my money back. Hey, it's really clear. I gave you everything, the PDF and the videos. And they will say, well, but you didn't build my profile for me. You're right. That was actually for free, after you fill out the PDF. Yeah. But, I gave you everything that you paid for. The only risk, so I'm just continuing, I'm kind of talking this out loud. So for you guys that I do business startup ideation. So this is part of it. The next risk that I'm thinking of is I just gave someone my complete system, and now they could go do it themselves. They could say, well, I could go make all of those videos have the same PDF, and I've got all of the understanding of how to write profiles. Okay, that may be a valid point. But as a business process, by the way, to systematize, the next thing I would have is it's not a PDF. If you, by the way, Shell, if you gave me the PDF, said, Richard, could you put this on my website? I would say, sure. So I would set it up as a multi-page form that they would go through and fill out. And whenever they were done, they could save it along the way. They could log back in tomorrow and pick up where they left off. And then when they're done, they could say, I am done. And it would send it to you and let you know that this person's now completed. That would help stop them from stealing it. They could screenshot it all and all that, but it's a lot better than sending them a PDF. And that would systematize, because you could have everything they typed in programmatically dropped into a PDF that's almost in format for their profile, like with different sections,
that
where you just like
copy and paste it
and reword things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But then it's easy work for you because because the format that it's the exact sequence order it's in the PDF is the same sequence order of their profile, and transferring becomes easy. And you give it to a VA who's really good at English and knows how to write like for profile level writing, and you're done. Then you're not doing any more work.
Let's get it there.
That's what systematizing does. It helps you get out of being the person that's always doing the work in your business.
Yeah.
All right. I think Dennis said this back when we were still talking about pricing. In the end, everything is about value. That's absolutely true. Everything that you do in your business is going to be about adding value to others. All righty.
Anyone have any questions as we're coming up on the hour?
Hey, someone dropped into YouTube. What is up, YouTube?
Yay.
I hardly ever see people. Those are two places. Like, I just recently added Twitter, so it was really cool to see people drop in from Twitter. And I think this is actually the second time that we've been live through Twitter, and then to see someone on YouTube. So that's really cool. YouTube is a tough game to break into. So I actually transmit. If you're watching on YouTube, don't take this personal, but I actually just stream over to YouTube so that I have one collection place where I can go get all my videos at any time. It's really hard. If you could imagine trying to go through the Facebook group and like pull out every video, it'd be impossible. So it's easy when they're all in one spot on YouTube.
Good to know.
But it's also, I'm establishing a track record that a year from now, when I say, okay, I'm going to start playing the YouTube game, I've got a year of, multiple videos a week, right, that are already there. When people see that, they say, okay, this guy's serious. And
do you keep those videos private on the YouTube, or can people still go back and watch them?
They should be able to see them now. They should.
Well, they're watching. If they can watch it live, but can they go back later on? Or
I think I'd have to go back and mark it as private in order for someone because they're watching it live. It's like, hey, actually, what's up, Germany?
Oh, you're able to get the comments from YouTube?
Yes, this is a YouTube comment, as you can tell by the little icon. Lola Korea, but actually this is Adele, the singer. We did it. Just kidding. If you're Adele the singer, then that's awesome. But if not, like, we still love you. Cheers
that
from
is the best
Germany.
name in the world, by the way. Yeah.
It is pretty cool name.
Yeah.
So
My
that's
my
awesome.
niece's name is Adeline, after my grandmother, whose name was Adele. So
Okay, so how do you tell the difference between when you should say Adeline or Adeline?
um I mean people spell it differently.
That's
I
too easy.
I would
I'm just kidding.
I would spell it with an I and E if I was going to say Adeline, but with they
Oh,
spell
so
it with
there's
a
no E on the end of hers?
no, it's Adelyn.
Okay.
So
Oh, and it's
Adeline.
actually Lyn, which is definitely a Lynn.
Yeah. I mean if
Um,
we added an E to the end of that, I guess you could say that that's Adeline too.
no, I think
Um,
that would still be Lynn because, like, Ly isn't a woman's name Lynne Lynn or
yes. Also,
Lyne. That's still pronounced Lynn.
I've never seen Lyne as Lynn. I've seen Lynn without the E.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can that's a whole different ball game.
But
Not related to systems.
we got Adele laughing at us, so that's good.
I I could do a whole stand-up routine, I guess. Which
Alrighty,
yeah.
so Adele, if you missed it, today we're talking about pricing, systems, and productivity. And of course, if you have any other questions, and here's a good one. That's the best question. Right now, the best-selling name is called Amazon. Alrighty, yeah. So that's actually a good point. And by the way, a little trivia is I can't remember the name of the product. I remember there's a product they released it back in I want to say the 80s or 90s, and it had to do with something with financial something. And they did name research, and they found out the name Franklin was highly trusted.
Like
No,
Benjamin Franklin.
maybe from Benjamin Franklin. I don't know. But and so they named their business Franklin, or their product. I mean Franklin, which is pretty cool. So yes, there is. It's a lot in the name. One thing about it, if you're gonna name a business, like cutesy little names that have little rhymes and all that kind of stuff, and it looks neat to the owner, usually doesn't make any sense to anybody else. I think the best names, if you're going to name a product or a business, is you name it according to something that's going to highly resonate with your ideal customer. So if, like, I just watched someone, they just renamed their Facebook group. It's a woman named Kat, and I can't remember her last name, but I'm in her group. She just renamed it, and now its name is like LinkedIn Lead Generator or something like that. A name like that, there's no question what this group is about. It's about getting leads off of LinkedIn, like super clear. So and usually you can get those types of names with just 3 words. Digital brand alchemy. Sometimes I do have to explain it because it's not self-apparent. Alchemy is a mix of both science and intuition in this sense. So you're alchemizing the psychology of selling with logic, the logic of selling into one thing, and we're building digital brands. All right. Sales, Nancy, share. I believe being a good coach is helping people be decisive. Man, I want to come back to that. Don't let me forget. I'm going to add another note.
Okay.
I am putting this note up here because I think this is super important when you're in sales. Helping people decide and take action. So, given a period of time to decide, 48 hours, 72 warning, tee it up. The client comes with a hell yeah or no, yep, and skip the maybe. Yep, totally agree with that. I've heard a number of people frame that same thing about, like, either it's a hell yeah or it's like, we're not doing that. So they're either like 100% committed or nope, like, I'm just not working with half commitments. It's very true.
Yeah. I
Another
want
thing,
action takers.
yes, only action takers. Yeah, because if they're maybe, then it'll be maybe like through the whole thing, and there'll be a problem. Like, those are not good customers. All right. So, by the way, I am a horrible speller. My handwriting is not that good. I'm dyslexic. and I think this dyslexia caused like most of it. So this is how I write things. I hope you enjoy it. If you ever see misspelling on my post or anything that I write, I
That's a
totally own
decision.
it. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing
Like,
about
make
this.
a decision.
This is the good thing. Like, let me bring this up that put Nancy's back up. So true. In sales, you're not looking for yeses and nos. When you get on the phone with someone, whether you have a 2-call, 3-call, 1-call system, like whatever, where you've gone over where they are, where they want to go, all that kind of stuff, you are not looking for a yes or a no. You are looking for a decision. If we're looking for yeses, then we feel all this pressure and we got to put pressure on them. But if we're just trying to help them make a decision, it's either now or it's not now. Like it's either hell yeah or no, we're not doing that. You're just helping people get to a place where they can make an informed decision. So when we sit back with that, we're actually on their side. We're not opposing them and like trying to pressure them into a yes, like we're against them. Instead, it's like, let me come join your side and understand the problem the way that you see it and see if I can help lay out a solution that makes sense from your viewpoint. And if this makes sense, what objections would you have? Oh, you don't? Okay, so now let me address that objection. Okay, what else is there? Like, is there something else we should talk through? And then finally, it's like, no, I think this is a complete plan. Okay, now let's make a decision. Is this something we want to do? Like, that it's a decision making process. It's not a yes or no, like buy, don't buy kind of thing. And I think this also goes back to that later, if they say no today, like it's really clear to them what they need and that you could do it, but they're saying no. Then when they come to you in a year, like I just had this client that came, when they come in a year, like they aren't afraid of talking to you again because you're not going to high pressure sell them again. You know, they know that you're going to help talk through to make, is this a good decision to do it this time? Like to me, it alleviates all the pressure. All right, Lynn, boom.
Yeah, and Nancy says Lynn is her middle name.
Oh, snap.
Making all these connections, Nancy. I love it.
Yep. My sister's name is Gwendolyn. Very close, but maybe not. Okay, horrible speller is now moving on. All right. All right, Dennis, the company brand we just created is luxury with an I. It is, so to speak, to those who want luxury, right? Yep. So he's just reflecting back on names. This one is tricky. I get it that you probably couldn't find luxuryrods.com. Like it's a lot of these common names.
Probably taken.
Yeah, they're all gone. So I've seen these alternate spellings. They could be a curse and a blessing. It's a blessing when they stand out and it clicks and people get it. Like people understand why. But then like I would, like, for guys like me that are dyslexic and can't spell that well, like luxury spelled with Luxri. Well, I just actually remembered it. Now that I've said it, I'll probably remember it even more. But I would struggle with that myself. So being able to find my way back to that brand may be difficult for me.
And actually, Dennis, I'm curious, what's your website, or is that not up yet? Because I was trying to search for it so I could see what it's all about, and I can't find anything with that company name. So I just want to make sure I'm looking in the right place. Like maybe that's part of the problem too, is that customers can't find you.
No, it seems like they actually get to that point to make the call, but it's too many clicks to get through it. So he'll send us his link. And I think this was back to Lynn as the middle name. It was just so epic that someone who said that. Let me look through.
Nancy. Oh, that I've said. Okay, not the.
I can't see that. So someone said I've seen Lynn as the middle name. Then Nancy said that's my middle name. Everybody on here now knows someone who has a middle name of Lynn. Thank you for that, Nancy. Shazam.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many people are still viewing. That could be Tanmay from earlier. That could be, yeah, there were a few people that joined us. whose names I can't see.
Alrighty. What else do we have? Okay, so systems. Or do we want to talk about productivity? Okay.
Okay.
Dennis says the name is .ca because the owner's in Canada. By the way, where are the people who are going to be buying? That's the dot whatever that I'm going to want, whatever resonates with them. For example, I really love and prefer .com. I think it works well for people that are predominantly in the US and also in the UK, as well as around the world. They just think .com. And I could tell a funny story about how I bought a .com and someone else bought the .net, and they ended up sending me all their traffic. But I'll save that for another day. I also got all their inner office emails. It was hilarious. But I'll save that for another day. I think .com is totally king. But I can totally get that if a service is in Canada. By the way, I used to think CA was California, which I get it. That is a state abbreviation, but you can laugh at my stupidity. But for the first whatever year, every time I saw like .ca, I just thought, well, California got its own TLD, top level domain. So you can laugh at me. I don't claim to be the smartest guy on this live stream. But anyway.
Well, I just had a stupid comment. I'm not even going to go there.
All right. So totally, I think people that are in Canada that are buying something from Canada will probably love to see the .ca. Yeah, there you go. There you go. But they will love to see the .ca because it tells them it's all local. It's us. It's the home team. We're not buying from them Yanks down south, or however they talk about us.
Yeah. Hi, Tyler. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, Tyler. What's up, buddy?
Dennis, I love your logo, by the way. I love how the luxury ride is around the X. I think that's really cool.
Hey, do we want to share that for a second?
Sure. Well, I'm on my phone, so I don't know how to share the screen. But
all right, I'll do it.
Okay.
luxri.ca.
Yes.
Boom. Let me see. It will take just a second to share the screen.
I also, real quick, Dennis, while we're pulling it up on desktop view, in mobile view, at least on my phone, it's not fully optimized for mobile view. So just something to look at. I've had that issue where it's optimized for an iPhone, but it's not optimized for an Android, and vice versa. So
I want to just say, Shell, thank you so much for saying vice versa. Yes, I'm very anal about pronouncing that correctly, and I hate it. I hate it when I hear big radio people, big TV people, or I'm an audiobook nut, and so I'll listen to Audible. So I listen to a lot of books, and they all say vice versa, and it's oh, that drives me crazy. But so I'm so glad that you said it correctly.
I didn't even realize that I said it. So
I had to get that out there.
I've been able to excite you.
I didn't want to blow off Tyler. Tyler's note. Tyler's 100% correct. I didn't want to say hello, Tyler, but I didn't want to blow off. He's totally right. CA will totally help if you're searching within Canada. Excellent point. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, if I had pronounced it wrong and said vice versa, would you have called me out on it?
I would have done it off air.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I would call you out. Otherwise, because look, I'll be the grammar Nazi, because I hear people say stuff like, "There's 3 cars in the parking lot." I hear stuff like that all the time. There's multiple, and that's totally wrong. It's there are, because that's a contraction. But I don't call sometimes on my team I'll irritate them to death, because I'll get on a streak and they'll be saying, and I'll just say I'll usually say something like, "That can't be right," and they look at me because they stated something that is factually correct but it's grammatically wrong, and they'll look at me like, "Well, what's wrong?" And then I'll say, because it's not theirs, it's there are. And then they'll go, oh. So I have to really watch myself. They know me well, but the rest of the internet doesn't know me. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm really liking the logo.
I'm going to look it up on my Android. By the way, are you Android or iPhone?
I'm Android. I'm Google Pixel.
Boom. Oh, so this is Samsung Note 10. Woo woo.
I'm all Google all the time. I mean, I have a Mac as well, not an iPhone though, but I do have a.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed on my site when people use the calendar, I have it as a little slight where I used to have some people that on the iPhone, when they would go to the calendar to like book their time to either come for an interview or a Zoom meeting or like whatever, that they couldn't see the coupon field because the way the phone like redid the calendar. But it worked fine on Androids. It was just the iPhone. So I say, if you're on an iPhone, you may have this problem. So you either need to get a smarter phone or do this on your computer.
Yeah, or just open it up in like your actual browser as opposed to the default one that like doesn't fully open it.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know.
Because even on Android, I had those issues where like, you have that search home screen that can also pull up web pages.
Right.
Where sometimes even pulling up my own site doesn't view properly, but then as soon as I open it up in the Chrome application, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
I think the built-in, like in any app, when you click a link, it loads it in the built-in, which in my case would be it would open it like in a interior Samsung browser, and I have to tell it to open it in Chrome.
Right.
Okay, so which part is not optimized? I'm just scrolling through. It looks correct here.
There's a picture of a vehicle where below where
Yep.
it says luxury rides Edmonton to Calgary, and luxury rides is like all spread out along the side of the image instead of starting below it.
I think I can force this to happen in our view. Can I? Oh, yep. There we go.
So it works there where like.
Whoa. Can you see this? My
So-
whole view screen just blew up because I shrunk that too small.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, our video is completely gone for me.
Oh no, I still totally see that.
It's a black screen. I should take a picture of this. Yeah, this I can't shrink it small enough.
Yeah. So when what's happening is that it shrunk it down even more. Maybe because I have a smaller phone.
Yes.
Where
Yep.
the letters like luxury ride is all one letter per line.
Yeah, and it's like all straight down.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'm going to hope that my video comes back.
Yeah,
nope.
There you are. Oh no, it did on my end.
It's black on my screen. Oh, this is so bad.
Well,
let me see if I can share another tab.
Are you seeing anybody else on your screen right now? Because I
just see the Facebook user thinks it's worked. So I broke StreamYard. Woohoo!
On your end.
Yes, on my end. I'm going to share it as a Chrome tab. Let's see if this will fix it. Okay, I can see the shared window, but can you see how it's all black?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now
that's not what I see at all.
I unshared it, just didn't it's not redrawing itself. Oh, that's so bad. Man. You're still there though? Uh-oh, Shell dropped out. Oh, Shell's back. Hey.
Yeah. Whatever you did, you knocked me out and I was backstage. I got that memo. Shell's backstage.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Now I'm black and you're there. Let me see.
But the Facebook user said,
there.
Oh, okay.
I had to take us both out and put us both back in, and then it fixed it on my end. And even
the Facebook user said that they were seeing us
perfectly.
So it was just you. It was just you.
I'm special like that.
It's caused by dyslexia. Okay.
All right. So Tyler says, personal branding or custom domain. I want to start a podcast, and I'm wondering which route to go. This is a good one. And okay, we said we were going to keep it to an hour. We are already 16 minutes over, but let's definitely answer this.
Let's answer this. Yeah.
Yep. And it may take us a minute to get through it, but so this is a really good one. I think there's a lot of value, Tyler, in building your own personal brand. even when you're building a business. So this is something that I'm thinking through like all the time. Right now, my main website is richardpickett.com, and I have people come there when they want to book the show. And I need to actually go back and work on it now that we have a number of episodes and set it up kind of like a podcast, like a actual web show podcast that has a schedule with back episodes and all that kind of stuff. For a short time, I'll probably still leave it on my site, or minimal. I will leave like the latest episode, or maybe the latest and a special, like the last highest, biggest, whatever-ish episode, and then move it off to its own domain, digitalbrandalchemy.com. Over there, I will probably still have some of my own branding presence, like pictures of me, RP, whatever. Shell, if like, so for those that may be guessing or wondering, like Shell and I talked, and she's going to be a regular. I haven't asked like how long of a commitment this is, or we're going to do this like forever and evers, or like what that's looking like. But if this turns into like the permanent thing, and then obviously pictures of her too, all that kind of stuff. Like so, I hope I've like stumbled my way appropriately through that. But I would. My point is, I would try to bring the personal branding stuff and make that as a bridge, because while you're building, if you go totalpodcastname.com, you still want to build back to you, so that you're building an audience. If the podcast goes down, you decide to do away with it, you're not like starting over from scratch again, because you'll lose everybody. It's like, that's deathly.
And you can also have a separate podcast name within your personal brand site. I've seen people do that well. And I think you need to do, I don't know that you necessarily need to have both sites right away, but I would definitely always like keep building your personal brand regardless, because whether you have a custom domain, you're still going to inject your personal branding into it. And you need to tie that in everywhere. Like your personal branding is going to carry you through even when you're not speaking as that other brand. I think they kind of go hand in hand. And this also ties into LinkedIn as well. Like I haven't made my LinkedIn business page yet, and that's something that I need to do. But like I have branding all over my LinkedIn because I'm building my personal brand. So they really do go hand in hand. That you need to show up on both.
And you'll have the same question when it comes to all your social medias. So, like this is Digital Brand Alchemy group. I'm a strong presence here, but honestly, you guys should take over. Like, if you guys want to post your own content, become engaging, like make this your community, like have at it. It's all good. I will still make my presence known. Like I'll be doing live streams and stuff like that. But I would really love to just foster a community that helps itself. But this is not, the name of this community isn't Richard Pickett. Like, so they're like in a way, I'm losing some of my personal branding to this group, but at the same time, I'm still a strong presence here. And when people come, even if you guys like took over like crazy, like people would still know that I'm one of the key players here, and I would still be building my connections and my presence, and people would want to connect to me on LinkedIn, which is where my jam is, or some of the other places.
Yeah. On top of that, like you guys could go live on Facebook, in this Facebook group too. Like that, you could go live anytime on Facebook, really. But like if you guys wanted to go live, you feel free. Like that, we're not. At least this is not even something that we discussed. But I think it would be okay for other people to like build their brands that way.
I don't know if they can. I think you have to be an administrator in the group to do it live. I may be wrong.
I've been moderator level in other groups and been able to go live, and then I've also been just a regular visitor of certain groups where they've challenged us to go live in the group, and so everybody goes live on their own time, just to like practice posting videos and getting comfortable making them. So I don't know if that's a limitation. It depends, I guess, on the privacy settings that you've set up.
So I just got a notification that Clayton Quisenberry, good buddy of mine, local, local friend of mine here has liked our video. So this is kind of like Oprah stepping into the room. I'm guessing that Quiz is watching right now. He is an up and coming buddy of mine who is a really good country singer. I've gone and visited him a number of times with another good buddy of mine that was a Marine or former service Marine, as am I. And so it's really cool to see you drop in, Quiz. We just want to say hello, give you a little shout out. All right. What else do we have? Oh, so another one on personal brand versus the podcast name brand. Tyler, you figure out where you want to draw the line. There's no right or wrong way. You can always make adjustments in the future. Just think through what you want to do today and the reasons why you want to do that way today. And if things change, you change. Like, it's real easy. You may want to carve off some space. Like I'm not going to tell you what mine is, but because I don't know, but these are some of the things you may want to say. Like, my Facebook really is where my friends and family connect, and I love sharing more personal things there. So I'm not going to broadcast my podcast there or publish it's tempting in the beginning. And maybe you do some in the beginning where you say, hey, come like my podcast or whatever, because you want to get that initial seed audience to get things kicked off. But you don't want your friends and family, if that's really all that's in your Facebook sphere, to, think, oh my God, here's Tyler's post. It's probably something to do with his podcast again. Like, it'll burn them out. But where they do want to see the dogs, the kids, or, that strange leaf that your daughter brought up to you, like, they'll want to see all that kind of stuff. But maybe in the beginning, just to get that seed, but then move on. But like, you figure out where those are. Maybe your Instagram is the place where you're really going to drop your podcast. I don't know that makes a lot of sense now that I'm saying that out loud. But like, you figure that out. You can also, as always, have 2 different Instagrams, 2 different Facebooks or Facebook group and pages where your podcast goes, etc. But again, just figure out where you want to draw your line. And if you need to move it later, you always can.
Yeah.
Along the way, build you. Go ahead.
And sorry, have you checked at all, Tyler, to see whether your name and your other, the other brand, the custom domain, are available? Like, have you done a search to see if those names are taken yet? If there's other variations that might be available? Like, have you narrowed it down to what you would want them to be, and you're just deciding between the two? Or like, have you even looked that far to, like, because then you can also see, like, is that username taken on Instagram? Is that username available on Pinterest, on LinkedIn? Maybe not. Well, in your LinkedIn URL, on Twitter, on any other forum, and then you can rule it out that way. For me, like, there was a very strategic reason why I'm not michelleshapiro.com, and that's because it's taken, but also so was shellshapiro.com. That was taken as well. Their Shell Station on Instagram has always been me, but that username was taken on so many other platforms that's why I also integrated the Get Shelled with it. And so I'm using a combination of the two. But like, I had to strategically look around and see, like, okay, the names that are taken, do they have a lot of followers? Will it be a conflict of interest? Can I buy them out later on if, like, they're super small and, like, I just want the name for myself? I had to really go in and think about, like, how I wanted to show up in different platforms.
And I wish I had a way. So a Facebook user said both make sense. They're saying whether you wanted to do, podcast name or personal name. Tyler says both are available, leaning towards doing his personal brand. Totally cool. Having personal domain with middle initial. Totally cool. I would try to be consistent with whatever user handle you have. So if it's, Tyler, middle initial, Lemke, like that's, if you could grab that on Facebook, so it's facebook.com/that, as well as LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. For domain names, even if you decide, I'm going to go on the personal side and use my own, the tyler.com website. That's where the podcast is going to live. I would still own the podcastname.com. If I couldn't get the podcastname.com, I would change the podcast name so that I could get it, even if I never used it, because there could be a time your podcast blows up 5 years in the future. You don't want to be paying $200,000 to someone to buy that podcast name.
Yeah.
You might as well have that in your back pocket. I've got digital brand alchemy.com. I also have digitalsalesalchemy.com, which is a platform that I'm reserving for when, if and when I ever release my marketing system that I use for my email and website integration, all those things. So definitely plan that stuff out ahead. A really good place to check out these names. Unfortunately, I am looking. I don't think there's a way. Oh, I can create a banner right here. Add the banner. Cool. Boom. Figured it out. Dyslexia and all. So you can go to Namechecker. Notice that the last E is missing. Namechecker.com. And it's a really cool site. I will share it real quick and watch probably my StreamYard blow up. Let me hold my breath. Share. Boom. Okay. Yep. Looks like it worked. And we can just type in. Oh, it's not letting me put in a space. So I know you said a middle initial. I'm going to leave it off just for now, but no, I'm just wanting to give an example of how this works. So the .com is gone. The Facebook username is gone. The Twitter name is gone, which these are all things you know. So let's say your middle initial was X. It's probably not. So I'm just playing it safe. You can see we can get the .com. You can get the Facebook. You can get the Twitter. So this is a real easy way to check every handle. You do want the .com. Save your money. Let someone else buy the .net and send you a bunch of traffic. Trust me, it's a good strategy. You just need to buy the .com.
People still use MySpace.
Believe it or not, right? The same goes with .org, .io, all those other ones. Those are very specific. If you're going to get on .io, it's because you already know it and you know why. So like buying these other domain, they're called TLD or top level domains. Buying those other variations are a waste of money. Let someone else buy it because, for example, if you got Tyler X Lemke, sorry, and someone else also bought it, they would tell all their buddies, go to TylerXLemke.net. Please go to .net, and people would still type in .com. It's like muscle memory. They're going to type in .com. So, yeah, but this is a really, really cool tool. I love it. I do a lot of research. If I'm going to set something up new, I do my research there.
Yeah. How do you feel about .co?
Yeah, so that's UK, right?
Is it?
.co.
I mean, I thought UK was just .uk.
What is .co from? Oh, or is this another? This is another country. Blah blah blah. Top level. Oh, yes, it's on to Colombia, so it's the drug lords. Watch out.
Okay. Good to know. I didn't know that. I thought that not even.
Well, Google had to tell me. Yeah. So again, .com. Like if I'm in the UK, then like they have the .co.uk, right? I think it's the common one. Like that makes sense there if it's going to be something local. But if you're going to go global, you're going to want .com. Buying the .ca, as Tyler mentioned earlier, for Canada only, totally makes sense. And other, or whatever your locality is, totally makes sense. Otherwise, but even if I got the locality, I would still try to get the .com. Otherwise, people like luxury.com, people will still go to that if they remember that name and they're not doing it from a link. I could see that I would be losing traffic. All right. So Tyler says there are over 1,400 TLDs. Again, that's top level domains. 1,400, sorry. And Adele, Lola, says it's .co.uk. Thank you. And Alchemy also says the same. Thank you. Alrighty. Oh, how can I now get rid of this silly banner? There we go.
Wasn't silly. It was informational.
Okay, how can I get rid of this informational banner? Alrighty, we are 1.5 hours. Goodness, we've done it again.
It's not 2 hours. What was that? Our max? That was
Our 2 hour. We went past 2 hours last time. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone have any further questions about productivity systems, about money, about funnels?
We didn't even get into systems really because I need to
We
work out a
touched on
flow.
it a little bit. Yeah. There's so much that we can.
My example was going to be what it takes to actually set one of these up. Like, and it takes a flow. There are a lot of steps, and the system will help you remember what each one of those are and to make each one of them easier. And once you have them down into a flow, by the way, then you can do automation. You can figure out where you can get automation put in so that you're actually doing less. And that's where I'm heading for setting up these shows, because it is a lots of work. Any last words, Shell?
For real. I think we got a lot of good things covered today. I want to thank everybody for coming. And as you know, we go live at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. And then we've got some interviews coming up during the weeks ahead.
Yes. Yep. So, Shell, I just wanted to say thanks for being such a great co-host.
Well, I don't. Yeah. No. All right. Thanks for being here. It's like a reverse image, so I had to think about which way I needed to turn.
Ooh, last question.
Oh, I get that question a lot. Oh my God.
Yeah. Keyword reputable. Oh, this is a long answer. Short answer, not really. Two main factors. Number one, I'm a personable kind of guy, so I like to get to know the person. If you try to deal with a VA one-on-one, then especially if they're in a lower economic status nation than ours, not necessarily third world, just not as affluent as the US or UK or whatever, they tend to have life things that come up and disrupt them. So my mom got sick, I'm going to be gone for a month, and then your whole business was running because you systematized and you did something, and now you've got to bring that back in and your world falls apart. It's really hard. Or they get pregnant, so I'm gone, or they decide they want to have a life change. So that makes it tough. The other side is you can go get an agency that has VAs in them, and they offer a little bit more structure, but then the prices are a lot higher. And the real problem that I found with them is they have the same churn underneath, and you're the one that pays for all that churn. How do you pay for it? Because in order to bring someone on, they want you to do all this training, like training videos of all the steps, etc. And they pass those, they train someone, you pay them a month extra. I don't think the worker actually gets that money. So you're paying the agency an extra month for this worker, who then the worker's not getting the money, but they have to learn all these steps that you gave them. Then they start doing it, but then when they leave, you're paying the next person to be trained again. So it's a trade-off, and they're more expensive. So I haven't found one yet that works well. I've been burned, as you can tell, a couple times, and I really wish that I could find a good VA. I do have a contact in Thailand. It's a guy that I trust. And so then I mentioned to him, hey, could you start a VA service? Because I think he has the people there to do it with. He has infrastructure to do it with. And I haven't heard back from him. This is a long discussion I'm going to have with him, and it's going to take time because it's a problem I'm actually trying to solve as well. I have found one person that I'm tentative about right now. I'm waiting to see how things develop. But yes, this is a really good question. It's very hard to find VA that works the way that you want it to. Shell, any thoughts?
I'm trying to remember which of my my collaborative partners told me that they had some VAs that they were working with, so that I could see how happy they were with it. So I will have to follow up with you there. Nancy and Richard to let you know my findings, because I'm just not ready for that. So I didn't really give it that much thought, but I do know some people that told me they were using VAs. So I'll check in and see where they found them.
And hey, Nancy, when we chat, if you want to talk through some of the things that you're trying to pass off, maybe there are ways we can work around it with business process change and or some automation, so that you don't need as much VA work, or the workload at least goes down until you find a VA. So those are some topics we can certainly discuss. All righty. With that, it has been a
we're going
great
to call it
show.
a wrap, right?
Yes, ma'am. All righty.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone.
Bye-bye,
Until
y'all.
next time.
Yes.